pro-Palestine movement, or the Free Palestine movement, I should say, should be branded as a terrorist organization, especially because the amount of information that is coming from the likes of this Free Palestine movement, and I still don't understand for the life of me how the Free Palestine movement is actually accomplishing anything in the West. If they really want to free Palestine, then maybe they should go over to Gaza at the moment and check out what's going on, what's really going on. And one of the journalists, or journalist, I should say, that is being quite much on the side of the pro-Palestine movement at the moment is now come out supporting, happens to be the likes of Piers Morgan. Now, one thing we know about Piers Morgan is he jumps on the next trendy thing. And recently, over in the US, there was another, I can't believe I'm saying another terrorist attack, whereby Mohammed Soliman decided that he wanted to bomb, like Molotov cocktails, I'm talking about that sort of bomb, Jewish people that are there to try and remember, I guess, the hostages that were taken on October 7th by a particular terrorist organization. But this happened in Boulder, Colorado, right? And as we know, Piers Morgan has been spreading a lot of misinformation and hate on his show. Lots of dangerous information, in fact, and especially because he's now brought on, like, former Israeli Prime Minister, Minister Ehud Olmert, who, by the way, has a very controversial past of his own, to say, oh, well, Netanyahu is committing some heinous atrocities and war crimes over there. So, yeah, let's turn everyone against Israel, and then let's prop up the terrorist organization even more so. Like, I find it really cruel and callous, actually, that one would actually even support a terrorist organization. I find it really absurd how Piers Morgan, who should know better but doesn't know better, actually props up a lot of this hate towards the Israeli people, towards Netanyahu. Now, for me, I'm no huge fan of Netanyahu at all. I think the guy has lost his marbles. But does that mean that Israel is in the wrong? No, because Israel is going after a terrorist organization. And you should want them to do that, because otherwise you're going to get loads more of these terrorist attacks over in Western countries. You know what we've got? We've got a huge problem. Piers Morgan, you should actually look at this yourself, because maybe, just maybe, it may change your mind, but I don't think that's even possible, because only if money is involved or a new massive audience is involved will that actually make you change your mind on anything. It's what we call gutter journalism. Tommy Robinson has called him out a number of times about his pathetic journalistic lack of integrity. The guy hacked, I believe, some phones. There's a huge scandal involved with that. And he's lied nonstop about Tommy Robinson. He's lying again about Israel. And he brings on people that actually hate Israel, including the likes of the former Israeli Prime Minister, who barely lasted that much. And he'll use that. He will use that to his advantage to support. And I find that really disingenuous, because that's not the full truth, is it? You've got two people, former Israeli prime ministers, that could be spiteful, could be actually on the side of the terrorist organization. Let's bring them on. And if anyone that is claiming to be Israeli is against Israel and what Israel's doing, let's bring them on. Let's not actually talk about the real realities of this war that is going on. That Israel, sure, they're not targeting the Palestinian people. They're targeting the terrorist organization that started this all. And obviously, after the Colorado attack took place, and again, you never see Jews doing this. You only see Islamists doing it. And yet Piers Morgan has been defending them. He goes, absolutely disgusting. It takes a sick, depraved mind to think that attacking innocent Jews with Molotov cocktails in America will do anything to promote the cause of Palestinians in Gaza. Well, Piers, you're defending them. You're saying Israel needs to stop. Like what Israel is doing is unacceptable. But yet this is exactly the sort of person that is in Palestine, or in Gaza, I should say, not Palestine. This is exactly the sort of Palestinian in Gaza that leaves and goes over to the West. And you're going, Israel is committing war crimes. They're doing horrible things with the blockade and you name it. And yet you defend the Palestinian people. You actually are defending terror. Do you not see that? If your argument is, oh, Israel needs to stop what they're doing and just leave the Palestinian people alone, do you not think that the Palestinian people are not angry at what's going on? Do you not think that for years they're the ones that voted in the terrorist organization, I'll have you know, knowing full well what their charter is actually about? So do you really think that the vast majority of Palestinian people in Gaza, Piers Morgan, are going to come over and be peaceful? When the terrorist organization that they voted in has lots of hate, they built the tunnels. Do you see any of the videos of the young kids that have been taught to hate the Jewish people? You seen any of that? You keep changing your mind when it suits you to do so. Only when it looks good for you. Not because it's the truth, but because it looks good for you. And your sincere sympathies with all the victims, especially the poor lady, the eldest Colorado T-word attack victim, is a Holocaust refugee. Right. By the way, there was a story that many people tried to make me aware of, but I'm like, that can't possibly be right. But the BBC released a story saying that the IDF ended the lives of some aid workers in Gaza. That happened to be a false story, and there seems to be loads of those going around. Now, does that mean that the IDF hasn't done some horrible things? I'm not saying that at all. They probably have. But the real truth is we probably won't know everything. But one thing we do know for certain is that the BBC, you can't actually trust them, because once they released a story that was up for like 5 days, they retracted it. The BBC has now officially retracted its story, confirming the video of the IDF firing on Palestinians at an aid site was false. The question remains, if they could verify the truth in 24 hours, why didn't they wait to verify it before publishing the lie? Yeah, sure, let's publish the lie, let that go round, because the BBC is actually for terrorists. How about that? Bill Ackman goes, when Harvard and other student protesters shout, globalize the you-know-what, this is what they are calling for. Incitement to violence is not free speech. It is a clarion call for murder and other violent acts. How many more innocent people must die before we take calls for the death of our citizens more seriously? Talking about the horrible attack that took place in Boulder, Colorado, that the officials, the media, don't want to actually call a terrorist attack. Can't do that. Can't speculate. It's a Muslim man shouted free Palestine. Okay, can't speculate motive. He threw Molotov cocktails into a group of Israelis. Still can't, it's not anti-Semitic at all. Still can't speculate. And you got the likes of Piers Morgan that will defend this sort of nonsense about how Israel is committing war crimes and firing on Palestinian people in Gaza. Right. Okay. And Jake Shields responding to Laura Loomer going, I predict we are going to have an October 7th style attack here in the US. How soon before one of the Islamic, you know what, illegals goes door to door in a Jewish neighborhood or holds a Jewish school hostage? And Jake Shields responds, and I made a comment about this in the last video that I made about the actual attack, going, they are planning a large scale, talking about the Jews, false flag attack on US soil. So stay alert. So Jake Shields is going, the Jews are planning this so-called attack to blame it on the Islamists. So Jake Shields is a homegrown terrorist. People should be aware of that. If you're siding with terror by saying stuff like this, people should worry about Jake Shields. 12,000 people liked that post, by the way, and 2.2 thousand people reshared it. It was seen by 355,000 people at the time that I screenshotted this. This guy is insane. Just so you're aware of that. I'll finish with this. Ant speaks, goes, I wrote a post calling Piers Morgan's show gutter journalism. This quoted post and the interview he conducted reaffirming that message, talking about how Piers Morgan is interviewing the former Israeli Prime Minister. The headline targets those with a limited attention span, allowing them to read the first few words and treat their opinion as gospel truth. Piers and his disingenuous team are aware of this. Again, it's all about clicks. Look at me. Look what we're doing. Follow us. What is tragic is that a quick bit of research, which takes only a few minutes and which 99% of people are unwilling to do, reveals that Ehud Olmert is a highly controversial figure. He served one term as prime minister, was responsible for the poor outcome in the conflict with Hezbollah, where many IDF soldiers and innocent civilians died. And if I'm not mistaken, had the lowest approval rating of any prime minister in Israeli history. On top of that, he was involved in significant and was proven to be a very, very real corrupt individual. Thank you, Piers, and your very obviously censored show, but not all of us fall for your compulsive lack of integrity. Just because you have a massive audience doesn't mean you're leading people the right way. And I think people have got to be very much aware of what Piers Morgan, Jake Shields, and many, many other people, Candace Owens, are putting out there in the world. It's one of actual hate, lying, only because it suits them. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.